Okay. All right. Well, everyone, we'll get started. Welcome to another First Thursday. I'm happy to have everyone here. It's um, it's a great time of year. I myself just got back from uh, Paris on my honeymoon. That was really nice. Had an excellent time out there. Um, and I got a chance to perform. We were supposed to be back in the US uh, on Sunday night, but due to some COVID situations, we got turned away and had to spend an extra 3 days in Paris. So that's not a bad thing, once you take care of the rest of your business. And so it gave me an opportunity to go to the Chat Noir, which is an awesome poetry venue, and they happen to have poetry on Monday nights. So I got a chance to share my poetry there. Um, yeah, so it was lovely. I was well received. I'll be sharing that video at some point later in the month once I edit and get all that stuff going. But it was a great time. I was super excited to be able to share my poetry in Paris and to be warmly received. Also, one of the things I did two pieces, and I'll share one of the pieces uh, right now that I did. But I do want to say one of the pieces I did for them was my when I say hip hop piece, because what is was very important is in 2024, Paris will be holding the Olympics, and that year, breakdancing will be a part of the Olympics. So breaking will be officially a part of the Olympics in 2024. And one of the great artists from France, is Marcel Marceau, who is, a mime. And also you think about that whole art form, a lot of breaking and popping comes out of that. So it's really a great opportunity for us to be able to have breaking in the Olympics in 2024. So that was one of the things I was able to share. But what I will share with you is also this poem that it reminds me of my father, and it comes out of the philosophy books that he shared with me, and of course, a great French philosopher, Rene Descartes. Um, I think, therefore I am, and so I'll go into this piece, uh, and it's called title and McTate, Son of Tate. Here it goes. I had a talk with my father the other day, and we shot the shit about this world and its progress. You see, sometimes I think it's a test, the true game of hide and seek. For we are not God, but many times refuse to hear God when he speaks. Better yet, when words are spoken. For God is not he nor she, but life held open. But with the human mind, we often find the urge to see the inside, while the inside's the outside. So for once, just let it slide. Now you might be wondering, who am I? I'm an ego, that's who. Egotistic and mystic, and like all of you, talented and gifted. For I am you and you are me, just as love, war all come naturally. So fly high and dig deep. Contemplate death and you'll sleep. You see, it was once said that I wasn't a loud talker, but back then I didn't want to wake the sleepwalkers. Thank you. Yes, indeed. So, as I said, it was an awesome adventure, awesome time, and to be able to appreciate and share that with my lovely wife during our honeymoon. in Paris was awesome and cool. So I can't say enough about that. So hope everyone is doing well. Hope you guys are having a great, wonderful March this month. And I would like to open it up. We have I want to see if Dion Slider is available. Dion, are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay.
Can
I
you hear me?
I can. Welcome.
What's up? Can I get that beard? That's all I'm asking.
Hey, I see you working on yours, man.
I'm in the infant stage.
Hey, it's all in the process. I see it's coming along good, and a good line goes a long way.
Yes, I'm
You know,
learning.
the
I'm learning, man.
it's unemployed, employed. The line makes the difference. The line makes a
It's
difference.
it's definitely chess, not checkers.
Right. Well, it's looking good, man. It's looking good.
Appreciate you.
All right. Well, let's welcome Dion to our screens.
All right. Um. Well, this is my first time sharing this piece. My name is Dion. I'm a poet in the San Bernardino Mountains, waiting right now for a major snowstorm to come in and give us like a foot of snow.
Oh,
And
wow.
of course, yeah. And of course, I didn't prepare for it. And I don't know what we're going to do about food, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. So, how much time do I read? Is it one piece or two or?
You have like 5 minutes, and work with
Okay.
that, and we're
Okay.
cool. We're cool. Don't feel pressed. Don't feel pressed in any
I'm
form or
coming after you,
fashion.
man. I'm coming. You
Hey,
can't.
I don't know what to
Paris,
say.
you
I
got
don't know
that
what to say.
glow. You got that glow, that Paris glow. I'm gonna come. Okay, we're gonna make it happen. All right. This first piece is called What's in Your Wallet, Mr. Jackson.
Mm,
And this piece, it comes from a conversation I had with a friend of mine about uh, black cards. And if you are in the African American community, you know what a black card is. And this is what it's actually two poems combined, but this is what I came up with. What's in your wallet, Mr. Jackson? This red, white, and blue bullseye branded between broad brown shoulders is just as heavy as the crown sitting upon my beautiful purple mind. I swallowed the jagged little pill dubbed Black Life. It cuts off my wind like a knee on the neck used to muffle the screams of the unheard souls, tired of begging for one more day of life. A life rooted in pain from a system who seems only good at failing those it wasn't meant to protect. Job well done. My son asks, why is there a law allowing lynching? More televised genocide, copper bodies piled high as ratings rise. It's as old as cotton, this right to rule over blue-black royalty. As a card-carrying member, I would know. This is my black card, recognized worldwide, providing plantation status to those who look and don't look like me. Oh, you didn't know? This card is not accepted anywhere void of an oppression, liquor store, trap house, church, and a tequila el Actacor number 7. The rate of interest associated with this card is just as high as the rate of interest police suddenly have when you are in a hoodie, sitting at home, at your kid's birthday party, or walking. No credit check is needed. Your skin is all that is needed to qualify. Interested in getting your ass whooped? Want extended jail time? How about 50,000 votes, 15 times for 5 minutes? It's the gift that keeps you near death for life. Act now and we'll throw in a lifetime supply of PTSD. Hurry now while supplies last.
right on. Right on. Right on. Right on. I see what's in your wallet.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Do I have time for one more? Is
Yes,
that
you
my
do. Yes, you know. Come on. Come on.
okay? The second piece is called Pigpen Epiphany. It's just something that just came to me. I was raised by my grandmother, who instilled a lot of things in me that I still carry to this day. And I thought of her when I wrote this. I am what has been before. Royalty carrying civilization on the wind of instinct, across Kemet up south the happy river, to bare feet on the warm clay of Mexico. Warrior in stance, exploring spirit, I have chiseled immortality in exchange for plenty. Built pyramids on the pressed soil, ran midnight eyes along undiscovered sunsets en route to destiny. Columbus who? I, draped in chains of gold, ancestral gold that lay chunky in the purple earth of Shaka. I have kissed the lips of Amazonian queens drunk on the wine of victory, only to see them drowned under the weight of bondage. I have ran ebony fingers along the hull of a slave ship named Jesus, while blue-black faces wept blue-black tears. Yes, I am what has been before. Thank you.
Right on, right on. Appreciate it. Thank you, Dion. Thank you. Thank you. Are you a student faculty at De Anza, or just a community member that found his way to First Thursday?
I'm a community member that found his way to First Thursday, and I'm so glad I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Lastly, you said you're in the San Bernardino Mountains. Is that Southern
Yes,
California, San Bernardino we talking?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
you guys
San
about to
Bernardino.
get some snow? I'm from Pasadena.
Man,
I'm not used to hearing that.
oh, it's Mother Nature letting us know that she's done. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It is what it is. It's crazy.
Global warming.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay, that's what's up. All right, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's give it up one more time for Dion. Yes, indeed. Okay. Kiana, the artist, are you here and with us? I know you in Atlanta, GA. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Next, Flo Wong, are you ready to
Yes,
share with us?
yes.
All right.
So I have a short one and I have a longer one.
Okay.
I'll start off with the short one first. This is a golden shovel poem, and I was struck by a line that I saw from Audre Lorde's poem. And so the title is I Am Woman and Not White. And if you listen at the end of every line, the name, her title of her poem comes in the last area. I am woman and not white. Within drowsy morning that yawns, I restlessly toss and turn because I am wrapped in dreams of a woman dancing about in inclusive equity. And then I glean enchanting chants, not toggled by footsteps of white.
Mm. All right. All right.
The second poem is called Fracture. Fracture. I stand at the bridge of fracture. I want to cross, but I hesitate. What holds me back? Is it fear, soaked in racist brine? In my homeland where many do not want me, a daughter of immigrants, I say this: I will not tear off the yellow of my skin. I want to cross, but straps of harmony are frayed, pockmarked with harassment, beatings, bullets, because coronavirus started in land of my ancestral ancestors. Winds of divide whip ferociously. The partition deepens. To those on the other side, I offer this proposal. Let's cut into palms of our red, white, and blue lives. Can you then see that our collective blood runs crimson? Will you be able to sniff vile perfume of scuzzy xenophobia? Will your animosity lessen if I and others like me cross the bridge? Will we be unassailable?
All right. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Flo Wong. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Right now, I would like to get into our featured guests for tonight. Uh, Gary Singh is an award winning journalist, poet, photographer, and painter who has also a longtime columnist at Metro Silicon Valley. Gary was also a Steinbeck Fellow in creative writing at San Jose State University and recently published his second book, Silicon Alley's Selected Metro Columns 2005 to 2020. He has a bachelor's degree in music and a master's degree in interdisciplinary studies, combining music theory, new media art, and creative writing. Let's make welcome Gary Singh.
Okay, thanks so much for inviting me. You guys can hear me, I assume, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I have this is a book that is probably going to be backwards for you guys to look at, but this is the anthology of newspaper columns that I have been writing for Metro for 17 years now. And every single week since 2005, April of 2005, I've written a column in that paper. I'm very lucky, very grateful. There's no other city in the world that would let me get away with the stuff that I have been able to do on that page for 17 years now. And so what I'm going to do, but rather than just sit here and talk about it, I'm going to read at least one column, maybe two, because they usually take about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. So the first one I'm going to read is from 2009, and it's about Alviso. I'm sure all of you have been to Alviso, or you've heard about Alviso, or you know something about the mythology and the gorgeous loneliness of the place up there at the end of the bay. And this was a column I wrote where I went up to hang out with Tony Santos, who had a cafe up there, and it's more like a travel story than anything else. But anyway, here we go. Okay, this is called Lunch with Tony. As you read this, the inaugural Silicon Valley Restaurant Week will have commenced. With such a variety of eateries in the valley, where does one begin? For me, the choice was easy: Alviso. Usually this off-the-radar locale attracts lunchtime refugees from the concrete jungles of Cisco and TiVo right down the street, as high-tech development inches closer to what was once the last bastion of the simple life. Plus, a new restaurant called Lunch with Tony recently opened up, so off I went. If you don't know Alviso, it was the South Bay's original port 150 years ago. To get there, just go all the way up First Street in San Jose until it ends near the Salt Flats. A primeval frontier from eons past, Alviso is a specimen pinned on the board, a discarded community that has irked San Jose's Department of Building Planning and Code Enforcement for decades now. Especially on a weekday at 10 a.m. when I recently visited, Alviso is the most desolate place anywhere around here. It's gorgeous. Bored seagulls hold court everywhere. Hallucinations of tumbleweeds begin to emerge. Sounds from roosters and distorted Mexican music emanate from unidentifiable places. It is the home of Val's, the celebrated throwback restaurant that makes Original Joe's look modern. And old timers in these parts have hated San Jose ever since the city annexed Alviso in 1968. Lunch with Tony occupies a parcel that could only be referred to as the microcosm of Alviso itself. A vacant lot sits across the street. Taco trucks occupy the parking lot next door. Across another road, one finds the ever-encroaching cookie-cutter condos. The cafe is easy to find, you know, the 5200 block of First Street, right over there. Owner Tony Santos graduated with a business degree from Santa Clara University, but after becoming disenchanted with the corporate life, he went and got another degree from the California Culinary Academy. I knew right away who I was as a chef, he says. No to fine dining and white tablecloths. Yes to gourmet, tasty, but completely approachable food, he says. Tony comes from a legendary and colorful family of Alvisans. His grandfather, Tony P. Santos, served time as mayor and police chief way back when Alviso was still its own city. He passed away in 2004, and a street now bears his name. Tony's uncle, Richard Santos, currently sits on the board at the Santa Clara Valley Water District. After I showed up for some curried lentil and butternut squash soup, Tony's dad, also named Tony, rolled in with a pile of historic photos. Together, the father and son buried me with Alviso history, with the elder Tony managing to bash 40 years of San Jose politicians in a span of 15 minutes. It was fantastic. City workers have always been prejudiced against Alviso, the elder Tony told me, adding that if you grew up in Alviso, you were treated as a second-class citizen by folks in San Jose. They could tell where you were from by the mud on your shoes, he said. It was embarrassing. I've heard some of these stories before, I started thinking to myself. Alviso history is awash in floods, environmental mismanagement, code violations, battles over slough restoration, property owners' soap operas, county and city neglect, economic conflicts of interest, and much more. It goes way back. The Santos family owns mucho property in Alviso, and Tony loves to recount hostile exchanges with folks in the planning department who he says are endlessly splitting hairs over nonsensical crap because they just hate Alviso. Anyway, the building now housing Lunch with Tony used to be a bar in the 1940s. It was called Tony's. The current Tony eventually plans to cover one wall with the historic photos. When all is said and done, the people of Alviso just want the area to be properly preserved and attended to while still retaining its small town feel. However, the elder Tony cautioned, in some cases, the seeds of progress just cannot be stopped. Val's now takes credit cards, he said.
All right.
So that was 2009. And do I have time for another one?
Yes, you do. You are our feature.
Okay. Okay. This one is a little more risque, but it's pretty PG rated, I think. This is about the last porn shop that existed on South First Street in the early 90s, so 30 years ago. Okay. And this is back when Susan Hammer was mayor, and the rock and roll clubs were thriving on South First Street in San Jose. And there had been an assemblage of a red light district, in the 70s and 80s, and most of that was gone, but there was still one adult video store left. And so they were trying to get rid of it. Okay, so I went and this is me telling the story decades after the fact. Okay, but I went and tracked down one of the guys that worked there. He was some oddball professional wrestler, and I'm using all these metaphors from like Nazi Germany, like the French Resistance, and the place is called the L'Amour Shop. So there's like 10 different levels of stuff going on in here. And again, there's no other newspaper in the world except Metro that would let me do this. Okay, so I owe a lot to that newspaper for letting me write this kind of stuff. Okay, okay. And the place was called the L'Amour Shop. Like L''Amour. The French word. And that was the name. But they still exist somewhere in Salinas, I think. But anyway, so this was the last like vestige of the red light district. So it's called L'Amour Shop Local. This week, the column is like around 2011, but I'm talking about the early 90s in the story. Okay. This week, another fond memory of San Jose politics, porn, and pile drivers. Basically, stories exist underneath every rock and pebble of this place. So when a friend offhandedly brought up the defunct adult novelty store, the L'Amour Shop, I decided to summon the muses, the 9 daughters of memory. A few of those adult shops still exist throughout California, but the San Jose store, which sat at 477 South First Street, remains intertwined with the memories of many a San Jose rock and roll scenester from the original South First area days. During the late 80s and early 90s, when an alternative rock renaissance was cementing a bohemian substratum along South First Street and providing a long overdue alternative to bastions of blandness like Tapestry and Talent, the L'Amour shop was the last remaining vestige of adult-oriented retail left from the previous decade's worth of seedy porn underbelly. Everyone who went to the music club or the rock clubs on South First Street accidentally stumbled into the L'Amour shop at one time or another in various states of sobriety. It was a unique to San Jose sort of scenario. In the building now housing Liquid Agency, the L'Amour shop occupied the street level while a constantly rotating crew of colorful characters lived in the dump upstairs and threw notorious drunken rooftop parties with rock bands. Many local bands played gigs up there with hundreds of people attending over the years. The entire building was named Danuba, and a few of the characters upstairs also worked in the L'Amour shop downstairs. It was porn, booze, and rock and roll, the likes of which San Jose will never see again, unfortunately. During that time, the city of San Jose was engaged in the first of many failed attempts at convincing the comfortable classes to move back downtown in search of inner city recolonization. The city council, drunk with rezoning power, was smashing all the porn. The L'Amour shop was the last piece left and thus met its eventual fate in 1994. Like a lone soldier on the battlefield, the shop stuck it out until the very end. It reminds me of the French World War II resistance tune, The Partisan, famously covered by Leonard Cohen. In the song, the narrator is the lone French soldier trying to remain free when the Germans invade. And it goes, when they poured across the border, I was cautioned to surrender. This I could not do. The Germans arrive at his door and he disappears into the night. To this day, the L'Amour business carries on, including stores in Salinas, Fremont, and Sacramento. The Salinas store was and still is the headquarters of the entire chain. Nito Gomez, the former bodybuilder and professional wrestler, began working at the Salinas store in 1986, moving up from clerk to assistant manager and then to manager. After that, he managed the San Jose store until the hammer of Susan came off the top rope with a forearm smash and took him out. This is him talking. Believe it or not, the L'Amour owners were actually a very good group of people, Gomez told me. They had families, they raised kids, they worked hard and created a relaxed, fun environment that made a lot of people stay there for many years. Plus, the owners paid well. Most managers received at least $2,000 a month salary, and the ones that were there for many years got upwards of $3,000 per month. And this was back in the late 80s and throughout the 90s. The clerks made at least $9 per hour to start, which was good for back then. The clerks made, which was good for back then, at a relaxed type of job, unquote. Just like the French resistance, the legends live on. One former L'Amour shop employee, speaking under a condition of anonymity, said the place attracted an entire ensemble cast of characters. A group of guys would wait around for the new smut to roll in on Mondays and Thursday mornings. They would hang outside of the shop. The truck would arrive. They would go out, unload it, open the boxes, and check the invoice for us, and then discuss amongst themselves who gets to rent the new smut first. We labeled them as the Sharks. In downtown San Jose, the L'Amour shop was the 10th muse of memory. It will never go away.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Those are just two examples of what's been on that page over the last 17 years. And I still write that page every single week, every issue of Metro. You can pick it up, and the page Silicon Alleys is in there. The one right now is about, the one that's out on the streets right now is about Chuck E. Cheese, for example. So, you know, and thank you for having me.
And where can we find that your second book? Is it available on Amazon or any other platforms? Okay.
It's available everywhere you would normally, any way that you prefer to buy your books. You can go to Amazon or the Independent Bookstore Network, but I'll put my website in the chat space. That way you can just go.
Awesome.
My website has all the buttons for you to just immediately click on, and then it'll take you there if you want.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you once again for sharing. Let's give it up one more time. Right. I want to ask John Dorrance, are you ready to share with us?
Yes, you can hear me fine, I take it?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Let's give it up for John Dorrance.
Hi, all. This piece, I'll just preface, it's a short story generated out of Deanne's short story writing class. And the inspiration was my wife. She tells me often that I don't hear her when she talks to me. And I just also wanted to preface it by saying I made the character in this female and Hindi because I needed a religion that had strong female gods. And so I had to go with the Hindu religion. And if I've made any mistakes, please forgive me for those. With that all said, I'll set up the PowerPoint and get going here. Okay. Y'all can see the PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
All right, good. Then I will. Okay, here we go. Invoking the name of Shiva's lover, the goddess who signs the Abhaya Mudra, the divine hand gesture of fearlessness and safety, I implore you, you who listen to my hopeless tale, make me visible again to this world. Restore my lovely body to me. I am standing right in front of you. I am Mrs. Mitu Chatterjee, wife of the esteemed architect, Mr. Mohammed Chatterjee. I am preparing to go shopping for my extra bangles and armlets at the Chor Bazaar. The mist on our bathroom mirror must be performing a magic trick. The tiny unwanted mole on my chin, it appeared a year before our marriage with its 3 tiny black hairs, has vanished. Wait, I will wipe this nasty mirror. Supreme Lord Shiva, my delicate jawline has also washed away from my reflection. What's happening, Mitu? Asked Mr. Chatterjee, he who lifts me off the porcelain floor tiles. Parts of my face have gone missing, I cry out. Go to bed early, Mr. Chatterjee suggests. That dreadful frown is all that is wrong with your beautiful visage. One smile for my esteemed architect, I imagine as best as I can fancy. I slip under our bed's soft coverlet each night, as instructed after a day's entertainments. Geeta, our skinny daughter, notices. Mother, I have trouble recognizing your face. Her forced retching in the toilet disturbs me. My hazel eyes are suspended, alone in the silvered glass. Reassuring lips and pearly teeth are absent from the mirror. My stream of tears falls straight, splashes into our sink. No shapely cheeks or comely chin to trickle down, descend. Don't fret, Mitu, commands my husband. Your forehead will wrinkle. Using the name of Shiva's concubine, she who mounts the magnificent tiger Gidon, in her name I implore you, let me spit in your mouth. I have often dined on tandoori chicken. Taste any turmeric? No? It's there, it's not? I am losing myself. When tangible, I employed fine fragrances to scent my form. Essential oils unsullied by solvents, herbal extracts, rose, jasmine, amber, and kush. Mr. Chatterjee, during the throes of our wedding night, exclaimed he could sniff my young olive skin forever, inhale me for lasting eternities. In the name of the goddess, Allow me to place my left armpit beneath your nose. Try to whiff the sandalwood paste. You can't. Dr. Kumar, my husband's childhood friend, asked me to consider a gentlemanly Hindu proverb. What can a blind man truly see, even if he holds a bright lantern in his hand, Mrs. Chatterjee? Certainly not me, I respond. The 16 items that should adorn any attractive Braham wife who isn't mere vapors, these precious things I hand over. Necklaces, my hoop earrings, bright flowers that were once woven through my arabesque locks, useless ankle bells and toe rings, my bindi, all drop into the orderly's bag. I could hurt myself. Will I forget how to stroll around a kitchen or handle a teacup of chai once my arms and legs have faded away? Clozapine, a minor deity, should command such a name. Dr. Kumar prescribes daily doses of it to quell my diminishment. Mr. Chatterjee visits stop at week 5. Our thinning offspring has never knocked on the locked doors to see if I am now completely imaginary. Now you must allow me to knead your genitalia. Your privates seldom lie. Can you feel my slender fingers hunting for excitement? You can't. Nothing moistens or stirs. Mistress of Shiva, she who holds her golden trident and the elephant goad with strong feminine hands, please accept my praise. Desire for my lovely body left my thoughts for a moment, and I drifted from my prison hospital room. Every year, the Mumbai Mirror runs the story and prints a photograph of Mrs. Vanished Chatterjee, the image supplied from our wedding album. Esteemed architect Mr. Mohammed Chatterjee will remarry soon, a plain-looking bride this time. They will pursue their dharma together. Anxious Gita continues to grapple with grief and her eating disorder. I drift everywhere and nowhere. I am 1 inch away. So in the name of Shiva's lover, let my intelligence beg of you. Taste me, feel me, smell me. Make my lovely body visible again to this world. You can't, but you must. Open your eyes. See me too.
Mm. Wonderful. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's give it up one more time for John Dorrance. Kiana, the artist, are you with us? Last call for Kiana. All right. Let's see. All right. All right. The mic is open then for anyone who wants to share. Have anyone who wants to share? If not, I will go into a piece or two.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to invite everybody to my Zoom poetry session on March the 12th at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
It's sponsored by Contemporary Asian Theater Seeing Cats in San Jose. And you can go on to Facebook to enter, or you could contact Diana. She has all the information.
Okay. She will. And tell us the date yet again.
March the 12th, 2 o'clock.
March the 12th, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Please make sure you guys join. Should be an awesome event.
I hope so.
Well, you're usually a part of some really really great events, so I think this one should be equally as good. So definitely, definitely. All right. I'm just kind of scrolling through a few pieces right now, kind of seeing if anybody wanted to join before I monopolize the mic, so to speak.
Peter van der Linden going to share?
Let's see. Do I have him on my list? Peter.
That's me.
Okay. I didn't have him listed down here, but yes, please, Peter.
So this is a somewhat lighter piece than the excellent works we've been hearing so far. The title is One of the Elder Gods.
Okay.
I usually start by introducing myself, which is tough because I don't actually have a name. I'm simply one of the oldest elder gods. How did I get here? Complicated. People don't have the ability to understand most of what I can tell you, and the rest of it has to be simplified appallingly. My answer to most questions people are capable of asking is, it's complicated. I can manifest myself to physical beings in numerous ways, most of which make them fearful or even drive them insane. Some of them go on to create a religious movement based on their misunderstandings of my communication. So honestly, I have avoided manifesting for the last few millennia. Let me draw your attention to my current chosen physical appearance. To you, I look like a white china cup containing lightning bolts. I'm cup-sized, and the lightning bolts are intended to deter people from touching me. In a manifestation in Egypt during pyramid construction, an overseer grabbed me by the handle. What a scream that was. I unloaded 10 plagues on the entire country before I could stop myself. Was that overseer's face red? To be honest, most of the red face was blood rather than embarrassment, but there you go. When I describe myself as an elder god, that's not exactly accurate, but it's the closest concept that you have to my reality. Most of the time, people give me a name, and the name is always ridiculously exaggerated. The current crowd calls me Elemental Prime. If you really want a name for me, just be descriptive. I appear to you in the form of a teacup full of lightning bolts, so call me Lightning Cup Bob. Don't get me started about prayer. Really, I am not that interested in your thoughts, even though I hear everyone's thoughts all the time. And some of those thoughts are disgusting. That octopus, for example, thinks about tentacle sex all the time. And almost all your prayers are about something you want me to do for you. Forget it. I have too much on my schedule as it is. What's keeping me busy and what's on my schedule? I like to think a lot. And I keep fit by thinking about that. Thinking about keeping fit is enough for me to achieve peak fitness. Anything I think about, it manifests. It's quite a skill to have. Most Monday nights, I play Texas Hold'em poker with Cloud Shuttlecock and Bound Dumpster Fire. I think I win quite often. Those are the names I give to two other ageless godlike beings. The names describe their visual appearance in terms of objects that you're familiar with. I thought of these godlike beings, and that created them. Thinking is my main occupation. It doesn't have to be about particularly weighty matters. I also know everything about much smaller matters, like the complaints of every bee in every hive and every ant in every anthill. A lot of insects have sore feet, and that problem is 3 times worse when you have 6 feet, not 2. So think about that before complaining. I created this little universe and everything within it. Cups, saucers, marine life, eagles, surfer dudes, and of course, godlike beings, Cloud Shuttlecock and Bound Dumpster Fire. I know you're wondering, can a god create a god? I think I can, so I can. The topic I've been thinking about the most recently is whether to go on or just hang up my shingle and call it quits. I'm not actively involved in any projects. I haven't been in touch with others of my species for literally light years, and I'm not even sure if any of them are left anywhere, apart from the two I made, obviously. This doesn't seem to be a propitious time for gods generally. It's very tempting to give it all up. All I need to do is stop thinking, and I will literally cease to exist. Descartes expressed that as, I think, therefore I am, but the inverse is true too. For me, if I decide to stop thinking, I pass out of existence immediately with no way to reverse the process. I think I'll do that now. Now I do not think that, and everything was darkness. Thank you.
Awesome. That was a nice poetic ride. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Anyone else that I missed that would like to share with us? Anyone else? All right. Last month I had an opportunity to present at elementary school for some elementary school students, some sixth graders. And I wrote a poem. I had, for a summer, I was able to be a science professor for Galileo Summer Quest. And I wrote a poem about the birth of a star in conjunction with the birth of a musical star. So here's this piece. Talking light years beyond, yet lyrically dope. Undetected by the naked eye where one needs a space telescope. Traveling, unraveling in interstellar nurseries. You see the birth of an MC where pressure's necessary. I mean, you'll soon see that it's all interplanetary, because when you rock a cipher of the MC's crowd, we're now talking dense regions, molecular clouds, all due to gravity, polarity of style, where the once lyrically infantile, now Sun's MCs like Ra moves crowds, with a perpetual style, swagged up and wow. Long story short, a star's born now. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Well, if anyone new doesn't want to share, I would like to invite some of the individuals who have shared already to maybe share another piece. We have another 10 minutes at least.
Sorry.
Yes.
If you'd be allowed to, I would like to share a poem that I like. It's not necessarily my creation because, of course, I'm not as good as any of you here, but, you know, just something that I have resonated with. If that's
Wonderful.
okay, I can have
Yes,
the
it is.
floor.
Yes, yes,
Thank
it
you.
is. Please share.
So it's one of, it's the very short poem, and it's by a Canadian, Indian Canadian writer, Ruby Kaur. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but yeah. So this poem doesn't have a title. It's just a very free-flowing poem. So
Okay.
I want to apologize to all the women I have called pretty before I've called them intelligent or brave. I'm sorry I made it sound as though something as simple as what you're born with is the most you have to be proud of. When your spirit has crushed mountains, from now on I will say things like, you are resilient, or you are extraordinary, not because I don't think you're pretty, but because you're so much more than that. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Dion, do you have another poem in your back pocket, so to speak?
Yeah, well, yeah, um this piece. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's breaking up a little slightly.
Hello?
Speak again. Okay, I think we're with you now.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. I was this is I'm a father of 7 children. Yes, I said 7. And my little girl is she's amazing. But anyway, this poem is called James Evans, and I was thinking of her when I wrote this.
Okay.
It's in my daddy's arms that I feel safe, safe from a masked world filled with confusion and hate. The base of his heart gives breath to my soul, as strong coffee brown caresses provides warmth from the cold. His baritone bathed wisdom sweetly reminds me, no matter what, never give in, never give up. Keep my head to the heavens, keep my head to the heavens where my dreams will be. It's there Carmel queens are born free. It's where troubles are few, love surfs freely on waves of freshly shucked pearl and blue. It's a world that sits in between a father's love and a daughter's embrace. Yet it's my daddy's arms that I feel safe.
Awesome. 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 Appreciate it. Thank you. And Flo, did you have another piece you wanted to share with us?
I do. My program on March the 12th at 2:00 is called A Wisp of a Woman. And the wisp of a woman is my sister who passed last year. I just still miss her. And so what happened was that when she was still capable of moving, the family took her to a parade in some mountain town. And this is the story of a Lunar New Year parade with all whites. And so it was fascinating for us as Chinese Americans to go and see this. And this is what happened when my sister was there. She went with her walker, and people, were lined up and blocking. She was teeny tiny. And since she was shrinking, she was even teenier, tinier than ever. And they just parted for her and gave her the space. And it was just lovely. So I watched her. And as I watched her, I brought out my iPhone and started writing A Wisp of a Woman. At a corner in a small town sardine with revelers waiting for the parade to begin, stands a wisp of a woman in her late 80s. Her strands of snowy white hair fluttering in the frigid wind. She wears dark glasses, which slip down her once perky nose. Black and blue blotches caused by a recent fall creep under her eyes. With narrow finger that once knitted socks and sweaters, she grips the metallic handles of her walker. Her slight body is chilled on the windblown day. Before long, a shrill whistle blows, signaling the start of the parade held in honor of early Chinese pioneers who lived in the small town long ago, when the still standing ancient temple offered a sacred site for them to pray to distant ancestors. Now, years later, drum majors spin batons, drill teams complete with marchers wave multicolored flags, high school bands march left, right, left, right, left, right. Youthful boys and girls purse their lips to blow on horns. On the float, girls in their teens are dressed in shimmering gowns, wear glowing tiaras atop their newly coiffed hair, every tress in place. The wisp of a woman stares intensely, tapping a knobby finger on her walker. in time with the music floating on the street. Near the end of the parade, she hears dong dong chang, booming drums beat, threads of vibration, reminding her long ago of Oakland Chinatown childhood during Lunar New Year parade on Webster Street. As the approaching Gimlung Golden Dragon comes in that small country town parade, the wisp of a woman finally sees red, gold, green details on the paper mache mystical creature, which is prancing, twirling, and swirling. As the dragon lifts and falls, it fills an entire block of the small country town. Viewers, including the wisp of a woman, snuggle together. They ooh and ah, some snapping cell phone photos as smoky firecrackers explode, crackle, and shatter. The dragon, decorated with swats of jade green, energized the crowd, including the wisp of a woman. She is suddenly transported far from the parade to the moment many years ago when the Gimlung Golden Dragon gyrated in front of her family's restaurant with the coffee cup neon sign. She was a young girl then swaying with the gleaming dragon's bouncy steps. I just miss her. I miss her so much. She lived a few blocks away from me, and I used to go over and do things with her. And as her body deteriorated, she depended on me and my husband because we were close by, and we would take her places. I used to bring her to San Jose to go see the light operas and everything else, and she hung in there as much as she could. But her body just didn't want to stay around, and it's just really very sad. And now we don't see her children anymore because they came to Sunnyvale because their mom lived there, and it's really a dissolution of a family in a different way.
Got you. Well, bless you and her soul, Flo.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
I appreciate it. I would like to thank Gracie. Thank you very much for your help this evening, as you always do. I would like to also thank our sponsors, of course, the UFRAT Museum of Art, the De Anza Student Government Community Education Division, and the wonderful individuals who shared tonight, and our feature, Gary Singh. You are appreciated. This was another wonderful First Thursday. We have it every first Thursday of the month. And my name is Mick Tate Stroman. I was the host for this wonderful evening, and I look forward to sharing and entertaining you guys each and every first Thursday. So thank you once again for sharing this time and this moment. Appreciate you all.